I'll just add that, so the whole Shlemiel thing, and we'll wrap it up and people can continue on the night. But the whole Shlemiel motif, I mean, I can see that Menachem was always processing this and trying to articulate this, and it's like very complex, right? But it's underlying. And so in the film, I decided to give it just a little treatment, not get into it in depth. But Menachem says, like, for him, and the thing that I guess that resonated for me is that Shlemiel is a dreamer. His actions, his dreams don't always necessarily match up with reality. And I think, for me, like, to see that Menachem aspiring, against odds, trying to break through, that for me was important to show visually and thematically, and clearly he's the son of a Shlemiel too.
Yeah, I want to say one comment. I grew up in the United States. I'm an American, and there are a lot. I'm very Shlemiel-y. I was raised to dream. I feel, and like really go for the heights. And all my friends are big dreamers, and my dad is the biggest dreamer. I mean, he grew up thinking he's gonna get the man on the moon and then create a weapon system, and he actually did. But he taught me to be a dreamer. He was like heavy duty dream reality. His psychosis affected me. I'm not psychotic, but I am a dreamer. I think he really affected me. He had huge dreams. He was he really worked hard to do these things, and he failed too. And that's the Shlemiel. Shlemiels fail. Their dreams don't match up with reality. My dad's dreams at one moment did match up with reality. He was a valedictorian at Columbia. He was a NASA fellow. He worked for the government. He designed weapons. Yes. Then at another point, it just didn't happen anymore. And that's where it had a really major effect on me. You see a person still dreaming when reality just doesn't match it. It's very traumatic. It's a traumatic aspect to it. But I do respect him for his dreams. He's a great man.
Okay, so if there's one more question, or does anybody have anything? Okay, yeah. Laurie, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, now that this is finished, if you're going to make a film called Shlemazel.
Shlemazel, yeah, there's, no, that's enough, yeah. You're done. You know what, like, what's interesting, I think I captured a chapter of his life, so it's like there's an arc, there's a beginning and end, but clearly, this is just the beginning of a bigger discussion. It's he's got other chapters of his life to live, but I'm not going to document them. Okay, you can talk to us. Okay, Deb.
I was wondering because you were talking about this before, what is greater for you than the music or like the religion back there? When those clash, right? They clash sometimes.
Okay. Religion and music don't have to clash, but it's interesting because Shal and I, we started the band. Sorry, Shal didn't want me to talk about it tonight, but now I am. So I have to because Men with Babies was started between Shal and I. We had an idea. We wanted to create our own culture. We wanted to create our own within the religious community, and we knew that it would clash, but we thought we could create our own space, and then it would grow. That was our dream, and it doesn't have to clash. It doesn't have to clash. It can grow, again, from culture moving out. Yeah.
Tell us an adventure story with your dad and yourself on the road.
That's too much. It's over here. One short story.
Yeah, a vignette.
A vignette. Should I do a vignette here?
Yeah.
All right.
Do it.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay. I was with my dad one time. We went down to Washington, D.C. I was about 17, 18 years old. I remember I was reading the Kazantzakis book. What's the name of that one? The Last Temptation of Christ. I was reading that. And I was like playing guitar, and I was in my whole headspace thinking about the stuff. I was like 17, 18. My dad rushed me off to, we rushed off to Washington, D.C. And he's like, we have to go here. I'm like, what? Why? Why do you have to go here? We have to go, it's important. So we go to the Hilton in Washington, D.C. And he says, he gets on the phone, he says, he does the whole thing with the doctor's on the phone, and he says that you're not my son, and you can talk to him, and really messed me up. Then after that, he left the room, he left the hotel room, he went downstairs, and I went downstairs with him. I was like, I gotta follow him, because he's really psychotic now. And he goes downstairs, and he goes into the bookstore, the Washington Hilton, and he sees Nietzsche. There's Beyond Good and Evil. There's like like the text right there. It had the heart split, you know, like old covers, like Walter Kaufman translation. And he opens it up and he reads a line from Beyond Good and Evil, and he's like, yes, this is it, you know, this line. And he was like, I was like, okay, and what does it mean? He's like, we have to go get breakfast now. I was like, okay. So we went to get breakfast, and he walks in the matron, he's like, yeah, I want the table over there. He's like running, like he's, you know, this is his restaurant. He's like, I want that right there, that's my table. I was like, okay, so we sit down, and my dad's sitting, and like, the waiter comes like, I want this, and then Dan Rather is walking into the restaurant. My dad goes, Dan! Dan, sit down! I'm like, holy shit. Dan. And my dad tells Dan Rather about what's going on with the country, where the country has to go, what has to be done. And Dan's like, yeah, and he's like totally into it. Dan Rather is really listening to my father. My dad's going on for about 10 minutes with Dan Rather. I'm like, I don't believe this. And then at a certain point, Dan Rather keyed into that my dad's a little psychotic, a little off the edge. It was very interesting. And after that, Dan's like, okay, I gotta get to my table, I have a party over there. So then he left, and then my dad got in his car, and we did a wild goose chase through Washington, D.C. He broke through the border, the gate at the Hilton with his car. I was like, oh shit. Like, slow down, where the hell are you going? And then he started doing gematria with license plates. He like gematria in Hebrew is you take letters and you do letter number equivalents. So my dad was like looking at license plates. He's reading numbers and he's doing all these calculations. And I swear this really happened. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. So he's like driving through traffic in Washington, D.C., going to Baltimore, and he's sliding in and out of traffic, reading license plates. And he's going numbers and he's going calculations. And then he pulls over. He said, we're being followed. I'm like, what the hell's going on? He pulls over into a service stop, and this guy is sitting, we're in the Sbarro. My dad's like, don't look. What? He's over there. Who? The guy. Okay. My dad goes up to him and he says, who are you? What do you do for a living? And the guy says, I cut down trees. He said, I cut down trees. He said, you're a tree whacker. Right? He said, yeah, you could call me a tree whacker. And he said, well, you're I understand what you want. You're a true actor. So my dad gets in the car, like, let's get out of here. He's like, we're going to cut us down. My dad's like interpreting, he's going to kill us. So that's my little vignette. I'll stop. There's more to the story. I'll not do that.
Thanks. There's a lot of stuff that I filmed. A lot. And there's lots of stories, and Menachem will be happy to tell you more. So give us a few minutes. The band will actually come on, get some drink, enjoy, relax, and the night continues.